Welcome back to the Chiro Money Show, where we're helping chiropractors make better financial decisions so they can build stability in their finances and a lifestyle that they love. We're your hosts, Chris Shield and Scott Campbell.
From Align Wealth.
From Align Wealth, of course.
Welcome in. Welcome in. It's okay. We'll get the intro smoothed out at some point here, Chris.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Eventually, I'll learn how to do an intro, hey?
All right. So Chris has been bugging me. We've been itching to do an episode on a topic that Chris brings up very often with clients. He can't stop talking about it. So I said, let's just do a podcast on the topic so you can get what you have to say off your chest and out to the world. Here we are.
I'll probably just keep talking about it though, eh?
All right, you keep talking about it. So we are going to talk about a popular book in the finance space. It's probably new to our listeners, and it's called Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. So you lead us off, Chris. Where do you want to go with the conversation today on the topic?
Yeah, I guess let me first start by saying like this book, it's probably not as extreme as you think it is. I think the title can make it sound a little scary, like Die with Zero. Like that sounds dumb, or like sounds a bit reckless maybe even, or like, you know, why would I die with zero? I want to leave an inheritance. Like, first of all, I want to say all of that is addressed, and it's not an extreme, diet or like fad style book. Okay. The book has lots of great concepts. We're going to cover kind of three key takeaways today. I'll just share the three things we want to talk about. So number one, the emphasis on maximizing experiences over savings or like dollar signs. Okay. Number two, timing is everything. There's this relationship between health and financial and finances. And we need to understand that because there are certain things we can only do in certain times of life where we may not either have the finances to do the things or we might not have the health to do the things. And then lastly, third takeaway is to die with intention, not excess. So kind of addressing that, like, well, if we're dying with zero, like what does that mean? Like, what does that look like in practical terms, and how that concept is actually more thoughtful and more intentional than just leaving behind whatever's left for your heirs, your beneficiaries, whoever you want to inherit whatever's left. That kind of normal style is probably like the least intentional and thoughtful way to leave money to your kids or grandkids.
For sure. Excited to dive into it. Let's first start with you, Chris. Like you live and breathe kind of this concept with your wife, Michelle, and how you think about life. And I love that intention that you bring to your life with your family and what you kind of try to aspire to our clients. So, you know, you have a big trip coming up that you're leaving for next week. And I know it's kind of inspired by the concept Die with Zero. So tell us more about kind of how you view it and how it's kind of shaped the way you view life.
Yeah. I mean, where do I start here? So let's just start with the New Zealand trip. So we're heading out to New Zealand here in November for about 3.5 weeks. Our kids are 8 and 6. Michelle and I have done quite a bit of traveling before kids and had big plans. Like basically we traveled for a year right after we were married, before we had kids, took a year leave of absence and just went all over the place. And we always thought like, we're going to do something similar with our kids. Like we're going to put them in school we had this idea of like going to Bali. Like there's this very cool school called Green School in Bali. And we're like, we'll put our kids there for a year and we'll live there. Like, so we had these big dreams, and it's always been a part of what has been important to us is having these experiences and travel and just seeing the world. So we've always had that idea, but since we've had kids, they're now 8 and 6, we haven't done a big trip like that. And we've been wondering, how do we make this happen in our life? And we've gone through lots of changes with careers and different, like lots of different things have happened in life as kind of happens, right? Like never what we expect 10 years ago. Yeah.
Time goes by faster than you think too.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You blink and your kids are 8 and 6.
Exactly. So here we are. Kids are 8 and 6, and we're like, we're going to miss our opportunity. Like if we don't do this soon, we're going to miss our opportunity, and we don't want that. So yeah, I mean, I can get into New Zealand and like why we picked there and all that stuff. But I mean, just values wise, like it's such a great fit for us. Like the things that we love to do, the experiences we want to have as a family, like a lot of that's in New Zealand is all possible. So how did this happen? let's talk about this timing and this inverse relationship between money and health, because I think that was kind of one of the big sticking points from the book, and which
Yeah.
that kind of informed this decision making. So if we look at just oversimplify, generally, most people, we can draw a line that represents the health of most people. And at a young age, our health is in really good shape and it's, high up at the top of the chart. And as we age,
Hmm.
our health steadily declines and declines and declines as we age until we
Yep.
pass away. I know that's not exactly fair. And the ultra marathon runner in me wants to be like, well, no, that's not going to happen to me.
That's right. But still, we slow down over time. It's
Totally.
just part of life.
It happens, right?
Even if you're in the best of health,
Yeah.
how you are at 30 is going to look different than you are at 55.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have this other line that represents money or wealth. And when
Mhm.
we're born, it starts out with a 0 and we're young adult and it's a 0. And as we get into a career and start building wealth, then our finances start to grow and our wealth starts to grow.
Yeah.
And so it's this inverse relationship where when we have our optimal health, we have or like the healthiest will ever be, we probably don't have a lot of finances. And when we have as much finances as we will ever have, traditionally, a lot of people just accumulate wealth and continue to accumulate wealth even into their retirement and die with a pile of money.
Yep.
And at that point, when they pass, they have arguably their highest level of wealth and their lowest level of health. And in the middle there is where these 2 points cross, where we have enough finances and enough health to really enjoy anything you could think of in life, right?
And then you layer in some children,
Right.
who are at, the age where it's like all they want to do is spend time with their mom and dad, first and foremost. They're probably at an age, you'd probably also say that they're at an age where you probably could pull them out of school where it's not going to be a big detriment, right?
Yep.
They're probably going to get more out of being in New Zealand for almost a month than they are in school, debatably, right?
I would argue, yep.
You'd argue that for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the perfect timing, right? You're at that cross point.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of is like the starting point. And then it's like, yeah, the really the big thing that Michelle and I, like the activity that we took away after reading this book together and like really have implemented into our life is this time bucketing exercise and looking at our life, our family's life in a series of like 5-year increments and saying, okay, today, right here, we have we know what today holds. 5 years
Yep.
from now, when I'm 42 and Michelle's 40 and our kids are 13 and 11, like just the fact of writing that down, honestly, writing down the year 2030 and writing down our ages and our kids' ages, that was a wake up call in itself, being like, holy, like we're only going to have a handful of summers left with our kids after this. Like, and then going on another 5 years from there, okay, 47 and 45, kids are 18 and 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Like starting to put these things on paper and then at the same time thinking about all of the things we want to accomplish in life, all of the experiences we want to have, and then kind of like dragging those different things into these buckets of time. Because here's the thing, we may not be able to take our kids to New Zealand when they are 20. They might be in university. They might have other plans for their life. They might not want to come. They might not like might not like us. Hopefully that's not the case.
You might not like them.
Might not like them.
I'm just joking.
And another example I like to use, we could say it's skiing or running an ultramarathon. Ultramarathon's probably easier. You probably don't want to wait until you're 70 to run your first ultramarathon. You could, but like if one of your goals is to run an ultramarathon in your life and you're in your 30s, you're probably a higher percentage chance of accomplishing that goal if you bucket that into your 30 to 35 or 35 to 40 rather than your 70 to 75 age gap, right?
No doubt, for sure.
Exactly. So the same with all the different things we want out of life. And it's hard to get all of these onto paper. There's a mix of career aspirations and educational things, physical activities, travel and experiences. Like we just tried to kind of brain dump all of these different things that we think we want to accomplish or get out of life and experiences we want to have, and then started putting them in these various categories. And that really led us to think or encouraged us, gave us the confidence to go and book New Zealand now, because we know there's other things we want to do later on. And if we just keep pushing it down the road, we won't have the time or finances maybe at that point to do everything in a condensed period of time.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it could be the same thing even with like retirement or financial independence. It's like, we can't just wait until we're financially independent to go and live life. You have to live life and enjoy life along the way.
Hey, before we keep going, if you've been listening and thinking, I could really use some clarity around where I truly stand with my finances, we've got you covered. Take our free financial clarity assessment. It only takes about 5 minutes, and you'll get a personalized scorecard showing exactly where you're strong, where you might be spinning your wheels a little bit, and where to focus next. You can head over to alignwealth.ca or just hit the link in the show notes. All right, cool. Back to the show. Curious from your perspective, like, you bring this up with clients, but how do you, from your viewpoint, how do you feel like this ties in so closely to like what we call good planning, both in the short term and long term? Like, how do you find that balance between, obviously we're encouraging our clients to save and invest for some degree of financial independence down the line, but like, how do you find that right balance?
Yeah.
How do we encourage people to like, not just, don't save and invest at all and just live for today versus you got to do something for the future as well?
Yeah.
How do you view that?
Yeah, I think it depends on where the client's coming from, right? Like if they're coming from an experience level with investing and saving, and they're like aggressively saving to reach financial independence, I think that's where really strong financial planning and doing those long-term projections to be like, look, you're already doing everything you need to do. If you just keep doing those things, here's where you'll get to. And like, that's kind of for me, like that's where I came from, because I've always been investing and saving money. Like that was something that has been instilled in me in a young age. So now it's like, okay, I know if I just keep doing what I'm doing, I actually have the freedom to spend more money, because the future self is taken care of with the proper planning and investing, etc. So I think that's one way to look at it. The other way is like, if someone doesn't have experience with investing and they're actually spending all their money, well, first of all, are you spending it on what matters most to you, or are you spending it on fluff? That's one thing we gotta take care of. And then we do have to establish that setting aside money for future consumption for financial independence. Like, you need to do that if you want to stop working one day. So I think it just depends where they're coming from, but we have to instill confidence that the future is planned for. And that's our job as planners, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think what ties in a lot to, if you get to the point where it's like, hey, if what you're doing is enough to set you up for financial independence, giving you that full permission and encouragement to go live life to the fullest today, I would say the one, like, kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily a caveat to it, but if you kind of have that frame of mind of like, this lifestyle that we have, it's great, it's enough. And you don't need to enhance that lifestyle year over year as your income grows. Maybe you can proportionally, but if you can keep your lifestyle, it's kind of what I'm saying, like in check, and you're happy and you're content with where you're at, and it allows you to have more of those experiences and memories in life. Well, you're already doing the right things to kind of set you up for financial independence. You have that kind of like, you can sigh and like, you can go do the things. You've given yourself permission to go live life the way you want to today.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much we can go into, like the values side and like personal cash flow and how we can spend in ways that align with what's important to us. And, I think if looking at someone spending is the best indicator to like what is important in their life, right? And it tells a story, right? So I hope if someone looks at my spending, well, I know what they'll see. They'll see that I don't care about eating out. I don't care about going to restaurants. I don't care about buying clothes. I buy equipment that helps me to do outdoor activities that I love. And I spend money on travel and experiences. That's what's important to me. Everyone's different, right? But like,
of course,
like it all is going to come back to that cash flow.
Yeah. What do they say? Show me your calendar, show me your checkbook, and I'll tell you what's important to you.
Yeah, totally.
Right. Let's move on to this next note here that you wanted to touch on: leaving behind large unused sums of money. Like you built up that big bag of money, and say you're in your retirement years. What does that mean? You kind of noted here, like you've potentially put yourself in a situation where you oversaved or you underlived. Explain that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So let's just think about the traditional kind of North American, if you want to say it, like inheritance lineage that's starting to become more of a trend.
Yeah.
Like this is pretty
Yeah,
recent, right? Like,
for sure. Boomers these days have significant nest eggs
yeah,
that they're passing all on to the next generation.
totally. And so
For sure.
if we just look at like average mortality, say someone lives till age 80, 85,
Yep.
assuming they had kids when they were 20 or 25, when they pass, their adult children are in their 60s.
Yep.
I hope that my adult children in their 60s don't need my inheritance because they've already saved for their own retirement and funded
Yeah.
are on track to funding their own financial independence. But
Yeah.
what's happening is these inheritances are flowing from these elderly people that are passing on to their middle-aged children that
Yeah.
maybe are already retired or already on their way to being retired, and they don't need the money.
Right.
The
Like
impact,
it'd be nice, but they don't necessarily need it for their own retirement, right?
yeah, it's like, well, I was already retired, and now I got $1 million because my parents passed away. Like, I'm sad my parents passed away. I didn't need the $1 million.
Yeah.
It's like,
What
you
could it, what was used?
well, here's a few things. Yeah.
Here's the
What
point, right?
what
Yeah.
what would you rather have instead of that money when your parents passed away? How about the experiences and the memories? So, first of all, I think when we look at underliving, oversaving and underliving, it's like we have to find a way to strike that balance of like doing those meaningful, important things when we have the opportunity to, and not
Hmm.
letting our potential discomfort with finances like prevent us from having those experiences. And I say potential discomfort because it's like it's hard to spend money. And
For
I
sure.
think it's even harder as a retiree to spend money when you have no more coming in and you have a fixed allotment that you have to live on for the rest of your life, and your life is unknown. We can never map out, like, if we knew exactly when someone was going to pass away, we could map out exactly how much they need to the dollar if they can stick to a cash flow plan. But that's
Yeah.
not reality.
They could do whatever with the rest, right? Give it away,
Yeah.
be charitable,
Yeah.
live life more, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many yeah, there's so many things that come to mind with this one, but like experiencing life when you can, using that money for good, whether that's charitable giving or giving to your kids at a time when they need it. Like if your goal is really to pass on an inheritance to your children, well, to be frank, they don't need it when they're 60. They need it when they're 25 or 30 and they're starting a family and buying a house and have like the highest kind of demand years in their life, right? So
Yeah. Or they're at a stage of life where they have young kids. It's like, I would love that money when I'm in my 30s so I can potentially have the extra money to go on those big trips so I can, and ideally grandma and grandpa can come along as well.
yeah,
Right? We can all share in those experiences together.
yeah,
Right?
it's a great point. I even think of things like, what if that's the difference of one parent staying at home to raise the kids versus returning to the workforce? If
Yeah.
that's really a family priority, and can you imagine if it was easier to make that decision because you had an early inheritance?
Yeah. For sure. Be
And
huge.
even if it's not like an inheritance that's actually given, if it's a gift that's given of, hey, we're going on a family vacation, that is money well spent.
And I'm sure a big part of this is for a retiree in that situation. I know we're probably not speaking to a lot of retirees, but you could, if for those listeners, you're probably thinking about potentially your parents that are maybe in a situation similar to this, right? Like, a lot of them have that kind of, let's call it old school thinking of, you'll get your inheritance one day, but I'll be quite a bit older when I pass and you'll be in your 50s, 60s, right?
Yep.
What kind of impact can we make today that would benefit all of us and create more memories
Mhm.
for grandparents, for this generation, for the following generation as well?
Yeah, I love that
Right?
question. It's like, why would you wait and wait for a time when you will have no idea the impact that you had? Why
Yeah.
wait when you can actually
Yeah.
see the impact today? Like,
Or live it.
or
Or
live it.
live it.
Yeah, live it
That's the biggest
ideally.
part. Go
But like,
live in it. Yeah.
I'll use charitable giving as an example. It's like, okay, so
Yeah.
my estate plan has a charitable gift, charitable donation as part of my, distributing my assets. Okay,
Hmm.
great. But like, if you gave that money to that charity and you got to see the benefit of that for 10 years while you were alive,
Yeah.
that has a huge dividend. That's a huge return on that money. And it's in the charity's hands sooner. They can do more with it. Like they get compounding of returns on that money going to work sooner. The impact is bigger and it's seen by you as the one giving.
Yeah.
Same with like giving an inheritance or experiences with your family. It's like, yeah, I just don't think that old style of like, hey, well, yeah, you'll get this when I pass on. It's like, yeah,
for sure.
I think it's actually the least thoughtful way of leaving an inheritance. The most thoughtful way is to put intention into it and do some hard but good planning work to understand what your spending needs are, and try to understand that if you would have excess, how do you want to pass that on and see the impact of that?
That's right. Yeah, and like you were mentioning earlier, if you knew exactly the day that you were going to die, I know I'm going to die at the age of 89 and it's going to be August 12th. You could map that out exactly to the T, right? Since you can't do that, that's where you would need some good like financial planning, a good retirement planner to map that out to say, hey, based on the nest egg that you've grown, and this is the lifestyle that you want to live, you'll have this excess. Like you're not going to spend it all. You're going to have this X $million net worth if you were to live till 89 and a half. It kind of gives you that permission to say, you're going to be good. Do you want to make an impact or make more memories now? Choice is yours.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah, the most meaningful legacy is the memories that you can create with
for sure
your friends and family.
For sure.
You can leave an inheritance while you're alive. It doesn't have to be an after death thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, this has been a great conversation. What do people need to take away from this conversation?
I think the key takeaway is that wealth isn't about accumulating a certain amount in your bank account or dying rich. It's about living richly and using money intentionally to create meaning in your life. And so with that, I would encourage everyone with some action steps out of this. Really, that obviously read the book, check it out if you're interested in that. You can find it anywhere, audiobook as well. But I think the key step, like for me, I know how impactful that time blocking exercise was. So yeah, go and block an hour, sit down with your partner and start putting some dates and ages on a piece of paper and brain dump some experiences you want to have and start thinking about where those might fit into your life.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it. Let's call it there.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, this has been a great chat, Chris. Thanks for sharing. We're hoping all of us listening are hoping that you have a great trip with your family in New Zealand.
Yeah. You'll get
if we can catch you we'll get some updates. If we can catch you for a podcast while you're over there, we will.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll see how we do.
We'll try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for tuning in and we'll see you next time. All opinions expressed on the Chiro Money Show are for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Nothing on this podcast should be considered financial, legal, accounting, or tax advice. Always consult your own team of licensed professionals before making decisions about your finances.